Romane. I work in Australia. My job is performance and data analyst. I look at the horse's performance after the workout and I analyze it and give reports to the trainer, how they handle the work and advices on how to improve horses' fitness. In Australia, it's a tool that is very widely used by trainers. It's used as a recovery tool but also as a training tool. The specificities of the treadmill are standardized exercise that you can reproduce over and over again. It's easy to use, there's no rider, no gear on the horse, more freedom of movement, a plain surface that never changes. The use of the incline also helps to work different muscle groups than normal exercise on a flat track. And you can also control the speed. There are some treadmills where you can't gallop on them, and then there's some water treadmills as well. Those are more for recovery, not really for training. The ones that I'm referring to that we use the most in Australia are the high-speed treadmills, so you can gallop on them. You can go up to 42 kilometers per hour on it. Many benefits of the treadmill. I think the fact that it's a surface that never changes, a controlled exercise where you know exactly what your horse is doing and you can reproduce it exactly to your needs or the needs of the horse. You can also be there and with the help of the heart rate monitor to control the intensity of the exercise much more precisely than on the track. And then you can also do exercises, for example, interval trainings. That's much easier to do on a treadmill where you can go back to a walk easily and then go again, whereas on the track sometimes it's a bit more difficult to use intervals. As well for any horse that have had, for example, a tendon injury or a horse that has a sore back, some knee issues, some weak hamstrings, you can modify the exercises to the needs of your horse. If your horse has a sore back, then there's no rider and you can put less angle. If a horse needs to work on his hind legs, you put more angle. If a horse is coming back from a tendon injury, it's a controlled, like I said, a plain controlled surface, less risks of slipping, tripping, and harder surface as well. I think the great thing with the treadmill is that it can be used for so many different things in so many different ways. Any trainer can find benefits in using the treadmill, whereas it's because you want warm up and cool down with no riders, whether it's because you don't have access to a hill track and you want to work your horses on a degree angle, whether it's because you have horses coming back from injuries, or if you have horses that are sore back or difficult to ride, pull a lot and are more relaxed on the treadmill, then you can gallop them on the treadmill and use that as a replacement of a gallop on the track. You can also use it as a complement, like as a different type of exercise to do. Use a different kind of tread to improve the fitness. Any trainer, whereas they have 2 horses, 100 horses, can find a use in the treadmill, and you can even walk them on the treadmill, the angle, so that the different type of walk than just putting them on a walker. Really, I think it can benefit any sort of training you have. If you have stayers, sprinters, I think the limits obviously is that nothing replaces a gallop with a jockey on the grass, so you need to have that as well within your training. It's kind of rare to be able to only train on the treadmill. Maybe the only risk would be a different kind of exercise for the horse and a different kind of intensity, especially with the degree angle. You really need to keep an eye on how your horse is handling the exercise, and that's why you need to put the heart rate monitor on. When you have the rider on, the rider can tell you how he felt. Was he pushing the horse? The surface is moving on its own, so the horse doesn't have a choice. It has to go that specific speed, but you might not be able to know if the horse is having difficulty to handle the exercise if you don't have the heart rate monitor on. You always know how hard your horse is working and how he's handled the work. It's a great way to force you to always have the heart rate monitor on and always know exactly what your horse is doing, how the intensity, the speed, the duration, all the parameters you have under control. It's used a lot in Australia as a recovery tool. After a race or a gallop, so you'll just be trotting for 5 minutes and then you'll be doing a light canter, maybe 24 kilometers per hour at a low degree angle for 2 to 5 minutes depending on your horse, sort of an active recovery. And then you can use it as a warm-up. Some trainer will maybe trot and light canter their horses before they go for a gallop. The conditions are not great on the track and you want to just a light warm-up with no rider. If your horse is a bit sore back, you can just put them on the treadmill with the saddle on, and then you can use it obviously to gallop your horse. And for that you can do longer duration of gallop, going a certain kilometer per hour for 2-3 minutes, or doing intervals, so doing 3 times 1 minute of gallop with recovery in between the sessions. You can basically do whatever you want depending on your horse's need and what you want to achieve. But yeah, you can go up to 32, 36 kilometers per hour, and you can vary the angle from 0 to 6 degrees. You always have the heart rate monitor on, see if your horse is handling the intervals, decide if you want to do a second one, a third one, a fourth one, depending on how the horse is handling it. Either to gallop for warm-up or recovery, and then as well for coming back from injuries as more of a daily use. Every day you increase a little bit either the duration or the intensity, and that way you have a slow build-up of fitness, and with the horse that comes back from injury you can as well control it a bit more. You can really see the horse when they're on the treadmill. You can have a look at them from behind, from the front, even if vet wants to look at the horse and make sure it's sound. You have to always put the heart rate monitor on and look at it live. So for a warm-up, you always want to stay aerobie zone. Like, you don't want your horse too much of a hard time warming up, so you can just check that the heart rate is at the level you want it to be. And then same for the exercise. I look a lot at the trotting heart rate because it's a good indicator of if the horse has a little lameness issue. Then I will look obviously at the max heart rate that the horse has reached for that boo of exercise. And then on the recovery, you want the horse to be under 110, 120 within 2 minutes. The horse doesn't recover, then they might not have handled the session. If they have recovered, then next time you can do a little bit harder. First, familiarize yourself with the treadmill, using it for warm-up and recovery, understanding how to put your horse on it, how do you have them relax. The horses, they need to get used to the treadmill as well, so you have to put them on a few times for them to be relaxed on it and to be really useful. And then once you've done that, move on to using it. For some horses that have more difficulties working on the track, like they might pull a little bit or they might have sore backs or stuff like that, then I would recommend to always use the heart rate monitor and always have someone that can help you read the data and help you analyze it, and then help you figure out how it's benefited your horse and what type of exercise you can do. You sort of need to be accompanied on what program you can use that will fit your training methods and fit your horses, and also allow a little bit of time to see results. It will take a bit of time to figure out what are the best days to do it, what are the best exercise to replace by the treadmill complement of training. Always have the heart rate monitor on, otherwise it'll be difficult to understand how it's affected your horse's fitness. You call me? Thank you.